Hey, nerdpreneurs! Today's Talking Nerdy is a workshop I ran with Frank that helps people come up with a list of 100 dreams. This episode is designed so that if you want to follow along and do the workshop too, you totally can, and by the end, you'll also have a list of 100 dreams that'll motivate you for an entire lifetime. If you're going to do that, you're going to want to have a notebook, a pen, and some time. Otherwise, enjoy our fun banter in between dream sessions. And here's today's Talking Nerdy.
Talking nerdy. We're just talking nerdy. With all this talking nerdy. Oh, come on, you wanna talk nerdy?
This is going to be a me talking a lot episode.
Okay.
So that doesn't mean don't speak, but it means I'm going to guide a lot of this because this is an exercise and it's been something I've been wanting to do for a while.
What are we doing?
I'm going to start this off with a quote. All right. It's from a book called Alice in Wonderland. "I can't believe that," said Alice. "Can't you?" the Queen said in a pitying tone. "Try again. Draw a long breath and shut your eyes." Alice laughed. "There's no use trying," she said. "One can't believe impossible things." "I dare say you haven't had much practice," said the Queen. "When I was your age, I always did it for half an hour a day. Why, sometimes I believed as many as 6 impossible things before breakfast." So today, we're here to talk about what many people might deem impossible things, specifically dreams. If I were to ask you the question, are you living your dream?
I feel like there's a second part to that sentence.
What would you say?
I'd say that I'm working towards it.
We're going to find out today.
Okay.
The big reason behind dreams is really why. It's the why behind what we do. And today we're going to work on getting some amazing reasons to do things in life that we do. And I've done this for people many, many times privately. And I've done it also at various conferences and places where I've spoken. And some of this is adapted and stolen and changed and pulled in. But I've done this exercise myself many, many, many times. And I've also guided it for a lot of people. And I did this earlier this year with my girlfriend. And after doing that one-on-one with somebody, I just sort of started thinking, why am I not doing this dreams exercise with like everybody I know? From friends to parents to people that I want to just get to know. And you'll see why as I go through this. But what we're talking about is dreams in the sense of motivations, right? There's a book by a wonderful gentleman named Matthew Kelly called The Dream Manager. And I've seen him speak a number of times, and he came to our conference, I want to say it must have been 15 years ago that I was at this, because I've been out of this company for about 8 years. It was in Florida at Disney World, and where you're living the dream, or dreams really do come true if you want to believe what Walt Disney says. And he talked to us about crafting a list of 100 dreams. And so we actually, over the course of, I want to say an hour or so, crafted a list of 100 dreams, and he facilitated this whole exercise. And what was so interesting is that when I looked back on that list of 100 and some odd dreams that I had created, what was so interesting was that, I've done this many times in my life. So I've looked back and I realized I was crossing off a lot of those things that I had dreamed many years before. And so picture a buffet, if you will. All right.
Okay.
And at every single tray, there's a different life experience, a different skill, a different passion. Imagine a buffet of dreams, if you will. What's the main maxim of any buffet? You get to eat as much as you want, right? How much you take from the buffet is really determined by one thing, and that is how hungry you are. Some people go through the buffet line with a very limited appetite. They kind of nibble at this buffet of life. Sometimes people just aren't that hungry for a lot of things. And I want us to be a little different today. And so if you're listening to this, I want you to be different than that too. I want us to be people who have an insatiable appetite. Imagine being able to go back to this buffet over and over and over and over again to fill up your plate with different things. One plate is looking at the Leaning Tower of Pisa. Another is, say, standing in the front row of a U2 concert. Another is getting married to the person of your dreams. Another is skydiving over Dubai. One is holding your firstborn child. One is depositing your first 5-figure, 6-figure, or 7-figure paycheck. Another is donating 5 figures, 6 figures, or 7 figures to a charity you absolutely believe in. Another is receiving a doctorate degree from whatever school you wanted. Another is scuba diving in a coral reef, swimming with sharks in Costa Rica, golfing St. Andrews Golf Course in Scotland while drinking scotch. As you walk along the aisles of this buffet, what would you fill your plate with? And you get to choose anything. So Walt Disney said this. He said, all our dreams can come true if we just have the courage to pursue them. And at that conference back at Disney, do you want to know what some of the dreams were that I had written down?
Tell me.
So it's interesting because this was back in 2007. I actually have the year. And so I dug it out and I was looking through and I listed some of the ones I thought were interesting. There's over 100, so we don't have time to go through all of them. But I thought there was a few that were kind of fun. One on my list was travel to all 7 continents. Now, I have got 4 of them out of the way, and I'm just waiting on getting to Africa, Australia, and Antarctica. On my list was to make a blues album. I don't know. I must have been listening to a lot of blues at the time. Run in a charity race was actually number 14 on my list. And I've actually run in probably 10 charity races, and I hadn't done one at all at that point. Be a model was number 15. Don't laugh. No.
I'm not laughing. I'm just wondering if he's done it, and also what constitutes being a model.
I haven't really been paid. I've been bribed to be a model. Let's put it that way. I've got free merchandise to, wear it and do modeling stuff for someone. So I don't know. I think that dream may have sailed, but I've done something like it. Here's another one. Number 39 was to visit my brother when he lived in Victoria. And I actually did get to do that in the year that, I think a year before I did this talk originally. Number 1 in my sales company for something was on my list. And I would say within the first 3 to 5 years after I did this, I actually got number 1 in a number of different categories, but one was district, and I've been number 1 office, and I'd won these traveler trophies and stuff that we had. I had this thing to give a talk at one of our big conferences, and I actually have done that a bunch of times now. I've also spoken at even larger conferences that weren't even with that sales company. To give $1,000 to charity at the time in 2007, that was a big chunk of money to me. And I was like, oh man, if I could give $1,000 to charity, that would be to have that much money that I could just give it away like that. That'd be amazing. I've since been able to give a lot more than that to charity since then as well. But I remember giving $1,000 to charity the first time was kind of a cool thing because it was on my dreams list from many years before. Traveling to Vegas was number 63 on my list. And I did go to Vegas. I'm trying to remember the exact year. I think it was like 2011 or 12. And I was on a sales company trip where I got to sip Dom Perignon for my first, what they called president's banquet with the company.
For the Americans that don't understand, that's a really big deal to Canadians going to Vegas.
It's a big deal.
In America, it's not as big of a deal.
It's also a big deal to sip Dom Perignon because
that's the big deal right there.
It is. It really is. If you don't know, that's a beautiful, amazing champagne.
Yeah, if you get that off
US
the shelf,
dollars.
yeah, if you get that off the shelf, that's probably $250. If you are getting that from a restaurant, you're paying about $400 plus.
Oh yeah. It is, and it's delicious, by the way.
Oh, tell me more. Please tell me what it's like.
Delicious. So good. Yeah. So good. You're going to laugh at this one. Number 65. Get this. Number 65 was be a rapper.
Once again, like the modeling, what constitutes being a rapper? How does one define victory in this goal or dream?
I'd say I am a rapper now. Like
Exactly.
I was not a rapper for a long time. A good time. Like I only got into rapping like 2 to 3 years ago, but it was so interesting to go back and be like, back in 2007, I had that dream.
Yeah, yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? And now it's like, 2020. Really started rapping in 2019, like December, and then 2020 through all of COVID and stuff, I actually got decent at it. And in the last couple of years, I'd say even the last 6 months, I'm getting pretty good.
You've come a long
So
way, even in the time that I've known you.
yeah, it's one of those things that it's funny to look back and see where I started and where it was just like a dream, and now it's actually becoming something. See, my favorite bands in concert was 76. It wasn't very specific, but I think I'm one of those people who has seen a lot of
You
concerts now.
go to a lot of shows, man. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been to a lot of shows. I've definitely seen I think it was like over 100 different shows in Vancouver, different types of concerts, different things, and most of my favorite bands I've crossed off the list
I
now,
would
which is
say
amazing.
almost every other weekend, I'm like, hey, Chris, are you able for this thing? Like, what's your workload this weekend? And you're like, I'm going to a show right now. I can't. I'll upload it later. And I'm like, a, another show? Like, what?
Another one, right? Well, here's the thing. I'm not here to just like brag. I'm not here to do that. The reason I'm showing this is because I want everyone to understand it, illustrate the power in the exercise that I'm going to do with you, Frank, and hopefully that other people can follow along with if they want to do it.
Okay. All right.
Because this is about dream crafting. It's about defining your future and giving yourself essentially a book. Like this right here is a dream book that I have. And it's just one of those nice little Jim Rohn journals. I got given like 10 of these back when I was in sales because people would always give it to you. But I've dedicated one of these to just be my dream journal. And I've done this exercise in it, probably over the last 10 years in this journal a bunch of times. So I have dozens and dozens and dozens of dreams now. And so when I look at it, there's things that I highlight, like I cross them off as they happen, right? And it's kind of nice. And they say that, like Lay's potato chips, you can't just eat one. It's kind of the same with dreams. Once you cross one off, you want to cross another one off. You want to get another one done. And it gives you all these things to go for and reasons to work, reasons to do things, right? Dreams give us the why. And so I'm not saying this to say, oh, I did all this cool stuff. I'm saying that I don't know if I would have done all this cool stuff if I hadn't have defined the dreams.
It wouldn't have been on your radar.
Yeah, it's amazing that when you start crafting like this, it actually can help. Now, there's another quote from Matthew Kelly says, "Nothing ignites the soul like the pursuit of a dream." But I want to know, what are your dreams, Frank?
Now, are you going to want 100 of my dreams today on this here podcast episode?
We're not maybe going to share 100, but we're going to go through and you're going to make a list of 100. And we're going to do that over the next 20 to 40 minutes, depending.
Okay.
And I'm going to guide you through it, because it isn't just like if I say to people, oh, just create 100 dreams. Everybody balks at that idea at first, like 100. Holy crap, that's so many dreams. It's not really once you get into the flow of this. But I got a few guidelines and I have a few rules for this.
Okay.
So number one, and that means us, you, and anyone who's listening, we're going to become people of possibility just for the next 20 to 30 minutes. Okay. Malcolm Ford had a saying. He said, when you cease to dream, you cease to live. So when you stop dreaming, you slowly begin to disengage from your life, okay, from your work, from your relationship. That's what happens when we stop dreaming. We stop engaging. And as a kid, you probably dreamed big, right? Maybe you wanted to be president of the United States of America. I wanted to be prime minister, right?
I sure
Maybe
as
you
hell
wanted-
didn't. No, wait, man. I knew politics at a young age sucked. I wanted to be an actor. That's what I wanted.
Maybe you wanted to be an actor. Maybe you wanted to win an Oscar one day. Whatever it is,
Absolutely.
right? Okay. So the point is, you had this dreaming capacity within you at some point, and we all got checked by someone or something that told us, be more realistic.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be practical, because that's what adults do, and for the next 30 minutes, there is no being realistic. Okay. We are not going to be practical. Dream crafting is about, if anything were possible, anything, what would you do? What would you become? What would you buy? What kind of shape would you be in? Where would you travel? Who would you meet? What do I want my life to look like?
All right. Goodbye, impossibility. I mean, impossible, the word alone says I'm possible.
That's a great way to look at it. So take off the shackles of low resources too. And don't be thinking, well, I don't have time.
Don't have money.
I don't have energy. I don't have the right education or
Okay.
job. Anything that limits your thinking, take those shackles off. Okay.
Okay.
We're going to be dreamers. That means people of possibility. And if you're listening to this, don't be too cool for school. Okay. Anybody, even if you're really successful, no matter how much you've made in your life or how successful you've been in your business, the greatest business minds in the world do this thing. Robin Sharma does this every year. He takes 3 days every 6 months to dream and plan. Richard Branson bought his own island where he just goes to dream. That's thinking big.
Jesus criminy. What?
know,
An
right?
island just for, oh,
I mean, he's
man.
also got a house there. I know because the guy I work for has been there. It's pretty cool.
Oh my God.
And-
okay. All right. I'm not trying to poo-poo on his dreams. I'm just surprised that someone has done this.
Hey, Johnny Depp bought an island too.
No, well, that's fine. Like buying an Marlon Brando
it's
did
fine
it
if
too.
Johnny.
It's fine if people buy
Johnny
an
Depp
island,
does it,
but when
because
it's,
he's American.
it
right?
was said like buys an island just for dreaming. It's like, oh, so he's got another island that's for like getting away from his wife or something. Like
Is that why you'd buy an island?
for the wife I
Is
don't
that-
have. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I want to get away from my fake wife that I don't have. Ah, she's
You're
such a pain.
I want an island just for D&D. That's
Yes.
That's what I want.
Yes.
How cool would that be?
Now I'm down. I'm down.
All right,
Just for
perfect.
tabletop role playing games, I got an island. There we go.
You might want to write that one down for just to start off. It's
All
a
right.
starter dream.
Okay.
Um,
Are there
but
any
I'll
more
tell you-
rules I need to be aware of?
Oh,
This one was
100%. We're
becoming
only on
full
rule 1. We got more
possibility.
rules.
Okay, let's do. Yeah, let's
I'm
go.
going to them. But I will just say, like, even if you've done this before, some of you might have already done this, do it again. It's worth it to do it again. It revitalizes and reconnects you to your whys. And if you've never done this, just go for it. For the next 30 minutes, indulge me and take a piece of paper or a nice notebook and go do this. Next thing, don't think in terms of timelines. Deadlines are important for goals, but that's not what we're doing right now. Okay. So if there's something you want to do when you're 86 years old, put it down.
Okay.
3, dream colossal. Dreams flood your life with passion, energy, and purpose. And the purpose of this is to inspire yourself to go beyond your limits. The most powerful force in business is dreams. The most powerful thing in your life is dreams. Okay. And so big dreams are contagious. Dreams help you see the future bigger than the past, and dreams inspire. And life is short, and you're dead a long, long time. That's a quote from an old mentor of mine named Jeff Bry. So don't waste it. Get a lot out of this. Next, you get what you put into this and have fun with it. That's the last rules. Have fun. There are no wrong answers when it comes to this. So you've got a dream book. And if you haven't got one, go grab one or grab a piece of paper. You can transfer things into a nice book. I like to go buy a nice book that I use and dedicate for my dreams. And since then, I'm still going through old journals that I haven't filled up. And every year I seem to get new ones. So it's fun, though, to go buy your first dream book. I went with my girlfriend to a store and we looked and found her a dream book to actually start doing this, which was very cool. So let's start off easy. The easiest thing is travel and vacation dreams. All right. So I want you to write down some travel dreams, Frank, and anyone else who's listening. Start with your travel. So where do you want to go? Where do you want to vacation? Paris, Rome. Do you want to see the Great Wall of China?
Does it matter if I number these?
You can just write, and then I would do it one after the other on a line, and you can add numbers later.
Okay. First thing that came to mind was get to space.
Well, here's the thing. I want you to write them all down. Then I'm going to have you share a few of your
Okay.
favorites.
All right. Well, first one, you know what it is.
Get to space. I love that. Hey, if you want to go to space, make sure you share that.
Yeah. Become my accountability buddy. What's it?
Yes.
Accountability.
buddy.
There
You
we
got
go.
it.
All right.
All right, everybody. Let's start writing down your dreams. Remember, there's no wrong answers. Write down, how about this? Leaning Tower of Pisa. Do you want to see the pyramids in Egypt?
Oh, yeah.
Do you want to go to New York City, see some Broadway?
No.
Maui, chill on the beaches, swim with sea turtles, go whale watching. How about, here's another one to add. The beaches of Boracay, Philippines. It's wonderful there, beautiful. and amazing.
You been?
Yep, that's why I'm saying it. The Amazon jungle. Do you want to see the Amazon jungle? Maybe you want to see the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco. How about climbing Mount Everest? Do you want to go to Delhi, India, or visit Moscow? Do you want to see Stonehenge? Go to Fiji.
I've actually already been spoiled by my family. I got to see a bunch of things you've already said. When I was like, before I was 10, I saw Stonehenge, I saw
That's awesome.
Eiffel Tower.
The Eiffel Tower.
Yeah.
Cool.
I was too young to really appreciate it.
All right, keep writing.
Oh, sorry.
I'm gonna shut you up.
It's a
'cause
podcast. I'm used to talking.
Do you want to go to Lebanon and go clubbing?
Nice.
Rock gardens in Shanghai, China. Do you want to get to Rio de Janeiro in Brazil? Notre Dame in Paris. Do you want to see one of the ones on my list? I'll just share is see Theatre in the Globe in London.
That'd be dope.
It'd be great. I want to see the grasslands of Mongolia.
Mmm.
I want to go to New Orleans and hear jazz. I want to visit Newfoundland. That's a Canadian place that's very, very cool.
Can you say one
Never
more
been
time?
there.
What's it called?
Newfoundland.
Like it's a newfound land? That's crazy.
If you're Canadian, you don't say that.
What's the number I'm supposed to get to?
As many as you can. And by the way, what's your favorite one out of that so far?
Probably go to space. Although I am pretty stoked with the Assyrian ruins. That's pretty dope.
Assyrian ruins. That's awesome. I like that. I'm going to add that one to my list. See, here's the thing is as we go through, you might hear other people and Frank and I share dreams that you want to add to your list. It's okay to add a dream that you hear from us to your list. For example, I want to do a wine tour in Chile because Chile's got amazing wine. I'd like to go to Istanbul in Turkey. I want to go visit Easter Island with the Heads. You know the Heads?
Yes.
Ooh, Ireland on St. Paddy's Day. I just missed that this year, but I think that would be an epic, epic trip.
Yeah, that'd probably be rowdy.
All right. Next, we're going to go on to what we call
Random rolls.
No. This is going to be people you want to meet.
Oh.
It helps if they're alive, so
Yep.
try to limit it to people who could be alive. But I want you to write down at least like where's the top 10 people that you want to have lunch with or have a conversation with or meet or do a podcast with. If you could have dinner with any person,
All right.
do you want to meet Tony Robbins? Do you want to meet a prominent business person like an Elon Musk or Mark Zuckerberg? Do you want to meet Sir Ian McKellen or Patrick Stewart? Who from Star Trek would you like to shake their hands?
I already
from?
got a couple of those down.
Is there any comedians you would love to meet or podcasters? I know I'd love to meet Joe Rogan.
This is always a weird category of like, oh, people I'd like to meet. It's, well, to be honest, they're all humans doing their thing. I don't know what it is. I mean, unless it's for the podcast. I don't know exactly what it is I'd want to talk to them about. I feel like they're busy enough. But like you said, become people of possibility.
You're dreaming like a bank manager right now. Yeah, just open your mind to the idea of if you could have a lunch with some of these people or have a podcast with them. Like for me, Gordon Ramsay's on there.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. Or could we interview George R.R. Martin? How cool would that be?
That'd be pretty dope.
Yeah. Or how about, Penn Jillette from Penn and Teller, who I did meet actually.
Oh.
Eminem is on my list. I'd love to meet him. Dr. Dre, 50 Cent, some of these prominent rappers. What musician would you love to have a meet and greet with? You don't have to have a great conversation with them, but just if you could meet them. I'd love to meet Dexter Holland from The Offspring. He's got a doctorate in microbiology and a killer rock band.
And not on a micro level.
No, he's like one of the best rock bands of all time.
It's pretty iconic. It's a pretty iconic part of my childhood as The Offspring.
And that must be why we get along somehow.
Yeah.
So I'm like, there's no way on the surface we should get along.
I mean, today I was blaring Incubus at work. It's so good. The Incubus band.
Boom, there we go. We got another one. Add that one to your list.
Hell yeah.
Any writers you would love to meet, or any speakers?
Damn, I'd love to meet Joseph Campbell, but he's dead.
There you go.
I can't put him down. He's dead.
No, I know, but there you go. There's an example of somebody that because you didn't put him down earlier, you missed out.
Pretty sure he died when I was like 5.
Dreams know no boundaries. Next thing, physical dreams. So this is like, do people want to lose weight, gain weight? Do you want to have 6-pack abs? Do you want to eat a certain way?
So this could also be health dreams?
Yeah, there's some overlap to that, but this would be like, do you want to run a marathon one day?
Do 25 pull-ups in one sitting?
Yeah, exactly. Do you want to be able to bench press a certain amount or deadlift a certain amount? Do you want to have a certain body type, right? Is there an endurance thing that you want to do? Like some people want to do endurance level challenges beyond just marathons. Like one of mine was just to compete in a charity race. Like honestly, I didn't want to run a marathon, and I still don't think I do. But I wanted to run a race. Some people, they want to quit smoking. Maybe that's one of their physical. Maybe they want to become a vegetarian, or they want to eat 3/4 of their meal vegetables. They want to eat in a sustainable way. That could be a physical dream.
Yeah, I just got to say health dreams like this, physical dreams, it's such a weird. So, I think I got jaded from my acting career. I got obsessed with all of that. I got obsessed with 6-pack abs, which I never earned. I got obsessed with how I ate. I got obsessed with a lot of stuff around my physical health. So this is kind of weird for me to revisit. I mean, and that's tricky. It's tricky. Like, yeah, sure, I love a 6-pack set of abs, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, I don't really like where that took me way back when. So like the obsession level. So maybe it's something else. And that's kind of why I mentioned like 25 straight pull-ups. Because it's like, okay, that's not physical appearance related. That is physical ability related.
Again, you're thinking very much about how all this stuff's going to happen because you're a details guy.
I'm not thinking too hard about how it's going to happen. I'm just making sure.
And if your dream is not 6-pack abs, it might have been at 5-10 years ago, whatever it was. That's not your dream anymore. There's probably a dozen people listening to us that are like, I want freaking 6-pack abs.
I want 8. I want an 8-pack abs, man.
Let's think bigger than just like the initial, I have to look a certain way. Because that's not what a physical dream is. A physical dream is beyond just, looking in the mirror and saying, I look this way. It's a lot of things. Do you want to have eyes that work a certain way? You could get laser eye surgery could be one of your dreams,
right.
Like, do you want to have perfect pitch could be a example of that, right? Do you want to have a voice that sings well? Do you want to have high breath support? Do you want to be able to touch your toes into your 80s? Do you want to maintain mobility? Do you play sports? Do you want to be able to, crush your disc golf league? You know what I mean? Do you want to be able to absolutely destroy in your ultimate frisbee league? Do you want to have a full head of hair your whole life? Never go gray.
Never go gray. N-G-G.
Or do you want to be able to do 100 push-ups? There's no wrong answers. We can always narrow this down, but keep yourself thinking possibility and what could happen. All right, now let's share something. What are some of these physical dreams you write down?
Yeah, this was definitely the area I struggled the most with. I got 25 straight pull-ups, actually 100 straight push-ups, which you just said. The vicious V. Do you know what that is? Yeah.
Yeah, of course I know what that is. Every guy wants the V.
Hell yeah, I'll take that vicious V. Laser eye surgery was actually a really good one that you recommended.
I didn't recommend it, but I've heard it's good.
This
is not medical advice.
Chris told me I should get laser eye surgery. Therefore, all right, stop struggling with my breath. Now, that's coming from a place of I have had a great breathing support my entire life, but in the last year and a half, yep, there I go, taking a deep breath. When I try to sleep sometimes, I can't breathe easily laying on my back. So, yeah, got to get that looked at. And then exercise into my 80s. So, I mean, honestly, exercise however long I'm alive. You know what? Oh, that gives me a new goal, new dream. Exercise regularly my whole life.
That's a good one to have for anybody. Just so you know, keeping that mobility up is one of the best things to keep you living till 100. So next category will be material dreams. This is guilt-free, okay? Don't worry about how much it is or what the impact on the environment is or how those things work. It's okay to want things is what I'm trying to say. We're not going to do this like we live in Seattle. We're doing this like we live in Texas. We want to dream big and we want to be thinking material dreams. What could we want? So do you want to own a Rolex watch, right? Or do you want to get a PlayStation 5, something more cheap, more attainable, right? Do you want a brand like the latest technology, a new iPhone? Or if you had $1 million to buy anything in the world, what would you blow all that money on? And this is where, again, you can write as many things as you want. There's no wrong answers here. One of the ones I had on mine was a Mont Blanc pen, and I'd like to have a collection of them because I already have one, and they're awesome. Would you want a $1,000 bottle of wine, or maybe some Dom Perignon at some point in your life? Or maybe some of you want a personal jet, or you want to own a school, or maybe you want some custom shoes. Maybe one of mine has been, I want to own my own theater one day where we can put on performances and podcasts and live events. Is there any books that you would love to own signed by the author, for example, there's a few books that I know for me, I'm like, oh, I want this signed copy. Or how about records? Do you collect anything? Is there any collections that you have that you would like to expand upon or start? Do you have Magic card collections that you would like to expand on? Do you have a D&D book collection? Or do you have memorabilia from movies? I would like to get a piece of art that is custom from Dune, one of the new Villeneuve movies, and do that commission or something. That would be really cool. That's on my list of things I want. Are there other rare items that you would want? Do you want a comic book signed by somebody? What kind of car would you like to drive one day? Do you want a D&D room or a games room with pinball machines or things like that? And that will lead into one of our other dream categories, is really designing your ideal house. What are things you would want in your ideal house? Do you want a lawn? You know, do you want a garden? Do you want fountains in there? You know, do you want a basketball court or a tennis court? Do you want a pool? Do you want something like a hot tub or a jacuzzi? Would you like a basement, a finished one? Would you want a games room? Or would you like a wine cellar?
You know, it's kind of funny. Sometimes I can't tell if my dreams being related to my kind of my work, not my day job, but like the things that I like to do. You know, oh, okay.
What were you just going to say?
Well, when I think of material things, sometimes I think of things that would help me do a better job of the value that I want to add to the world. So, right, the thought that came to mind was around photography or product photography. It's like, you know, extensive set of camera equipment, you know.
Perfect. Did you write that down?
No, because I was trying to figure out if there's any like, oh, well, it's related too much to work kind of a thing.
Remember the rule, there's no wrong answers?
That's a rule? I didn't put that down, Chris.
You should write that down.
You get what you put in, have fun.
That was
the last rule. Like, okay, all right. There are no wrong answers. Got it.
Yeah, well, a part of having fun is there's no wrong answers, and you get what you put into this. That's the
Oh,
consequence.
it's implied. Okay, got it.
It's implied by the whole process of this. But I mean, that's a great goal. Like, I know for me, I have microphones on my list that I'm like, I want these microphones for my podcast and for my studio setup for my music. Like, that's what I want. I want my own home studio. Like, that's a huge thing for me. When I get a property, I want to have a home studio where I can do podcasting and music. You know, I would like to have an art studio too, where into my 80s I could make art. You know what I mean? Like, that's something for later in my life that I want to do, is painting and art and that kind of thing, and have a little studio where I can do that. I think about why, like the why behind this, right? It gives you this bigger version of it. So like for you, having cameras that you would desire, or microphones, or a home studio setup, or maybe you want a dark room where you can develop your own film. I don't know, like whatever you would ever want, think about it, because those things are not as far off and unattainable as you might think.
Yeah, I ain't developing my own film, but I know what you mean.
You know what I mean?
That would be,
right?
Yeah, oh boy.
What kind of computer would you want? Like, you know, I mean, I know that's sort of a rolling in target, because there's a new stuff every year, but dreams don't have to last a lifetime. They can also be something that you achieve in the next 6 months or the next 3 months or the next 2. Some people like, what about a pet? And not that pets are all, you know, material. They're a little more than just material, but are there things that you want to do with pets? Like, oh, I know for me, I want to own my own dog one day, right? I don't know that I want any other kind of pet other than that. Although I have tinkered with the idea of a tarantula one day. I'm not ready for that yet. They're just not as, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I might get a tarantula once I've got more space.
Yeah, they take up a lot, don't they?
Well, it's more that I just don't want it like in a confined space with me.
Yeah, right.
You know, or the potential of it like winding up in some other person's place if it ever got out. All right, next category will be character dreams. So character dreams would be things like, do you want to be more patient? Do you want to have a life of intense integrity? You know, if you had to list 10 virtues or things that you would live into, values, if you will, to live into, what would those 10 be? Do you want to be a kinder person, a more humble person, a more generous person? You know, someone who does what they say they're going to do. Strong levels of discipline. Someone who's known as being trustworthy or is trustworthy. Do you want to overcome depression and feel happier, get some of that joy? Like when we talked with Satine Phoenix, she talked about how some of her clients were just hiring her to help bring joy into their life, and so they could find joy. You know, overcome a fear of flying. That could be, are you afraid of something? Is there arachnophobia? Maybe you're afraid of spiders, like I
No,
initially was,
impossible.
and now I'm less. Now I'm considering a tarantula purchase. You know, do you want to strengthen willpower or overcome an addiction that you have? Character dreams. And kind of ricocheting off that one, we have emotional.
Is this a new category?
It's a new category, but it's more, again, like there's no wrong thing. It's just about continuing to keep the flow going, right? You know, and by the way, if you're listening to this and you start thinking, I wonder what other people's dreams are, that's a good thing, because it does help when you get to know people and you can share what are some of these other dreams that they might have on their list.
Can you give me an example of emotional dreams?
Yeah. Do you want to help, say, your spouse or boyfriend or girlfriend live their dreams? You know, that's an example of emotional dream, right? Do you want to help someone else, like your parents, achieve some level of dream? Like I know for me, one of my dreams is to buy my parents a vacation, which I'm probably going to do in the next couple months. So don't tell anyone.
Okay. All right. That's exciting.
Do you want to have, like I said, like be in a great relationship, have a partner, you know, that you can really rely on, and defining a little bit about what that is, right? What is a great marriage, right? And what does that look like from an emotional standpoint? Someone you can stand with or hold on to, support each other. I don't know, I'm just spitballing. It could be just people who you love having fun with or play D&D with, you know what I mean? Like that can be an emotional dream. An emotional dream could be having a regular D&D or Star Trek Adventures game in your life. That can be an emotional dream.
Yeah.
For people. Do you know what I mean? It could be to be able to watch all Star Trek seasons with someone in my life that I love. How cool would that be?
That would be pretty crazy. That's a lot. It would be awesome. It would be awesome.
Hey, why not? Write it down.
Shit, yeah.
Someone you can trust with your deepest and darkest and most fun secret, or someone you can laugh with, right? Or maybe it's just like you want to be more funny, you know, or you want to spend more time laughing in your life, bringing more joy into it, or you know, and not taking things as seriously. Maybe you need to take things more seriously, so maybe that's your goal, right? Maybe you want to learn to trust yourself more. Maybe you want to learn to get out of imposter syndrome, like so many of our nerdpreneurs are. Maybe there's an emotional dream, like you want to be a support system for your family. I'm just spitballing. None of these necessarily have to apply to you, but I'm sure some of them will apply to some people. And I'm trying to give you ideas of where emotional dreams can go. And I'm speaking to the audience, not just to Frank. I know it seems like I'm just hammering him, but we're gonna get through this, because it's usually better when I do this with like a big group and everybody's bouncing off each other and there's energy in the room. The pressure's on for Frank. Right
yeah,
now
I know. It's like I gotta perform and I gotta do this stuff. Oh, crud.
You're doing great, Frank.
Thank you. The problem is I'm right now considering character dreams and emotional dreams at the same time, and I'm kind of bouncing back and forth. So let's see.
Like I said, it doesn't matter the category. Category just helps us.
Yeah,
think
it's
of
a
more.
structure. I
Like
appreciate
when I
it.
say
So therefore, I'm trying to follow structure.
But you don't have to worry about, oh man, which one of these is it?
Oh no, too late. Oh, I already am worried about that. Ah, see, I put an emotional dream into character dreams. God, I've already ruined it, man.
The most important thing is just get them down. That's it. Anything that pops in, right?
Okay. All right. Okay.
Next thing, legacy dreams. How many of you are going to be phenomenally successful in your life? Get excited about that. Consider it for yourself. You know, maybe you want to help 100 people achieve their dreams. And part of the reason I get excited about doing this exercise is because I wrote that one down many years ago. And I don't know how many people I've helped achieve their dreams by doing these exercises. I don't know how many people I've helped exactly, but I know that I've probably helped a few more than I would have if I hadn't done some of this stuff. If you could have an impact on the world in some specific area, what would that be? Like, I have written down, like, I want us to be authorities on nerdy business as a podcast and as people. I would love for us to have that legacy as Nerdpreneur, and have Nerdpreneur added into the dictionary would be really cool.
That'd be dope. That'd be sick.
Write that down, Frank. We need 2 people dreaming that.
Okay, all right.
That's a legacy dream, right?
Got it. I will say, I think if we get Nerdpreneur into the dictionary, it might create issues with our trademark.
I'm not sure how that all works, but I think we want to get it in at least like the Oxford Dictionary. I think that'll be fine because it's in English.
The Oxford Dictionary, we just have to pay someone, and then it'll happen. It's like TEDx. No,
are you sure that's how Oxford
joking.
works? I don't think that's how Oxford works. I feel like Oxford's like the most official dictionary.
The Brits just say,
but maybe that's
yes, cheerio, money please. Very good.
If you could do some good in the world, what would you create, change, or have an impact on? Let's get ready. Some people write down like they want to put an end to hunger in their area, or they want to support at soup kitchens or start their own charity, or they want to have some sort of level of charitable organization or charitable donation or charitable activity that they do. Maybe they want to organize something in their community around politics or sports or community action. What's going to be your legacy? We're almost done. Keep writing. One of my legacy dreams is I've always thought it would be really interesting to start D&D groups for prisoners.
Right.
As like a way to get them learning skills, playing and doing something with their time and energy that is in some way constructive, but also like work out some of those therapeutic things that maybe they need to. And then also give them a chance to, exercise some of those demons in a safe and fun way.
There was a really good article my dad shared with me a while ago about death row inmates finding solace in D&D and how limited their resources were. So they created these like dials instead of dice because they couldn't have that plastic, so they just had these little like makeshift things where they'd spin it and it would give them a number. It was a really heart-wrenching story, an article.
I just think that there's lots of people in need, and everybody can find something that they can support and go after. And that's where your legacy can be, is where you put your time and energy to help. And it's good sometimes to write down a few things. You don't have to necessarily commit to all of them or even one of them, but like at least it gets you thinking in that direction. And what's funny is when you put stuff like this on paper and out into the universe, all of a sudden you start to notice opportunities to be able to step into that legacy. So that's legacy dream, Next would be creative dreams. Do you want to write a book one day? Or do you want to have a play that you produce, right? Do you want to make a movie or a TV show or a podcast if you don't have one, right? Like we do. Do you want to create something like that? All right, let's get writing. Do you want to read certain books? One of my goals is in my lifetime, I'd like to read every single play Shakespeare did.
You could do it.
It's totally achievable. Do you want to read every single George R.R. Martin book, right? Do you want to read every single, who's the guy you really like? I can't remember. The guy
Brandon Sanderson.
Sanderson. Do you want to read every Sanderson book? Because that guy has thick books. Like, they're heavy bricks.
Finish all the books on my to-be-read shelf. Would be nice.
Yeah, then you'll probably have to do a freeze on buying them to get
I
that
would
done.
have to.
Do Do you want to create an album? Like for me, one of the things was to create an album, right? And that's probably going to happen this year. Do you want to learn a new language? If you were to pick a language you could learn, what would you do? Spanish or Dutch or Shona?
Shauna?
That's from Zimbabwe.
Oh, okay.
Do you want to learn Cantonese or, what's the word? I don't know. I can't remember what it's called, but they speak in like Fiji, but there's a word for it.
Fijian?
Anyway, Fijian, is that what it is?
I think so.
I think so. Maybe it is. Fijian, it sounds funny.
It sounds great. I mean, I always think of the Truman Show. I want to go to Fiji.
If you could study any subject, what would you study?
That's a good one.
Life is short, but it's also long.
The hard thing for me is I'm very used to dreams and goals being very like what we call SMART goals, right? I'm used to them being specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time bound, but this is not.
No, it's not, because we're on step 1, Frank.
Oh boy. Okay.
This is about creating the massive pool of why.
Okay.
And why live bigger at all. People underestimate what is possible. I don't know why the universe works this way, but when you put things out and you say what they are that you really want, the universe responds by giving you things that you actually can move towards, right? It doesn't happen in like, oh, I want 6-pack abs, and one day you wake up with them. But there are things that might push you in that direction. And what's funny about this is that I've done it myself. Like I've gone through these lists and I've seen like, wow, these are all things that I just wrote down in these massive lists and things I want to do. And then I went and set some specific SMART goals for some of those things and then made them happen. And other things I organically just crossed off the list because I was like, oh, why am I waiting on this? It's just on my dreams list. I'm allowed to do this. I think there's value in having a big pool in which to dive into for inspiration and motivation.
Right.
So creative dreams, just to go right back onto it. Maybe it's like a certain number of books you want to read in a year. Maybe it doesn't matter what kind of books it is. Maybe it's not even specific. Maybe it's just, I want to read 10 books this year, or 5 books, or 1 book a month. Maybe I want to read 52 books this year. I had a guy who I know who read 52 books in a year, 1 book a week. He said it changed his entire life reading 52 books in a year. Spiritual dreams. This is another category you can go into. Do you want more inner peace? Do you want to have the ability to enjoy uncertainty? Do you want to have a better relationship with a creator or a supreme being, if you will? What could be your spiritual dreams?
Man, these overlap a good deal with character dreams.
They could, but not for everybody. This could also open up the idea of, people sometimes want to pray every day, or they want to spend time meditating. I know for me, I haven't done it yet, but I would like to spend a year meditating, like not the whole time, but like once a day meditating. Maybe you want to have a spiritual journey of some sort, whether that be through Kundalini yoga or ice baths or taking mushrooms or ayahuasca or doing a silent retreat and praying. Like there's lots of different ways to have a spiritual journey, but maybe that's on your list of things that you want to do. Next category.
How are you enjoying this podcast of one as I am writing feverishly?
Well, I'm glad we got to feverish writing because you're supposed to be writing feverishly. I'm sure everyone who's listening is just also writing feverishly their dreams down. Exactly like that.
I'm writing faster than everybody else who's listening. There, I am more feverish than you all. You must dream to be as feverish as me.
How many have you got so far, Frank? I'm curious.
I lost track of counting. The numbers are too high. I cannot count high enough. My dream is to count this high.
Do you think you got more than 50? Or do you think
definitely?
Do you think you're up to 100?
No.
Okay, we've got to keep going. Financial dreams are the next category.
Oh, Lord.
So here's one that you should all have written down because I think everyone wants this. How about be debt-free
Yes.
if you're not already? How much money would you want to invest in a year? How much money would you like to donate in a year? You know, when I started my dreams list, my first goal was $1,000 to donate. I had this thing as I'd love to give more to charity than one of my family members makes in a year. How much do you want to earn in a year? You know, if you have a business or maybe you want to start a business, right? Like, do you want to start one? How much do you want that business to earn? How many commas do you want in a paycheck? You know, do you want 1 comma? Maybe 5-figure, 2, 6-figure, right? What's the biggest paycheck you've ever got? Double it and say, I want that to be my next dream paycheck. And then when you hit that, you write a new dream.
The always moving target.
But financial dreams can also be around, you know, savings, like how much would you like to have saved in an emergency fund, which I encourage people to have. Do you want to own a house? That could be a financial dream. Some people, it's an investment property. You know, I remember writing down when I was in my early 20s, I want to get my first 5-figure paycheck. And I did that when I got this $20,000 bonus check back, I think when I was 25.
Wow. Yeah, that's huge, dude.
Now it's like, can we get a 6-figure paycheck? Wouldn't that be exciting?
Yeah.
All right, next category, professional dreams. Do you want to be number 1 in something? You know, do you want to run your own business? And what would that look like? Most of you probably do. If you're listening to a Nerdpreneur podcast, you're probably entrepreneurial. But if you are an intrapreneur, who is somebody who's working within an organization to support it and build it up, maybe you have some other goals, right? Maybe you want to get a certain level of management. Maybe you want to get a certain promotion in your life. Maybe you want to get to the point of leading a team. Maybe you have your own business and you want to build out a team of people where you have your own company culture and you get to do a team retreat every year with your amazing team and get to do a dreams exercise with them and help them achieve their dreams. Because that's on my list. In case you were wondering, I would love to have a retreat for just nerdpreneurs or people like that that come out once a year and we help people achieve their dreams for their business. Do you want to get into a specific field? Some people want to be engineers. Some people want to be, recognized in their industry. Some people want to win a Nobel Science Prize, right? Like one of those Nobel Prizes for science or discovery. Maybe you have that as your goal. Maybe you want to win a writing award for sci-fi or fantasy. That's a professional dream. Maybe you want to work with a certain individual and have a partnership in that way. Who would be that person? Who would be an ideal client or partner for you? Maybe you want to launch a product line that sells out overnight. That's a professional dream. All right, let's take a pause. Do you want to share some stuff here Frank, just some of your favorite ones you've written down out of these. I don't know, however many you have, 70 or whatever.
Yeah, out of 70 billion, million, trillion.
We got a couple more categories, but I wanted to see
The last one I wrote was launch a course for passive income.
Nice.
Charge enough that my lifestyle is comfy and yet people are willing to pay. I'd really like to meet Brene Brown.
Nice.
A character dream of mine is be more self-compassionate. Emotional dream is to share joy and gratitude daily with my partner.
Nice. I love that.
Legacy dreams is to make the world kinder. And that's, I think I should put compassionate.
I think lots of people would support you in that dream.
Yes. Help others build their nerdpreneur journey. That's part of the legacy dream. Creative dream. There's so many things that overlap with these, but in a nutshell, I'd really love to record, write, share a tabletop role-playing game saga, a series of some kind. Of course, I'm biased towards Star Trek Adventures. Most people like Dungeons and Dragons. It's really popular. That's why. But I'd love to do something that's a bit nerdy. There's a lot of Star Trek series out there that just are not known. They're just, and I don't know if they're good or not. They're just not known.
If they were good, you'd know about them.
Probably. I really hope none of them are listening.
But they also wouldn't be Franks.
They also, yeah, they would be very different. I just have gotten such great praise from the people that I play with that I'm like, God, I should keep this going.
I'm sure you're awesome at it, man. I'm sure you are. And I think that if you run your own style of this and then like put it up as a thing, like you'll get a market for people who resonate with your version of Star Trek that you put out into the world. And like I have mine on my dreams, direct a movie. And now I've narrowed that focus to direct a movie about disc golf. Because I totally have an idea for a disc golf movie that I want to get done, and so been working on ideas for a script around that. But like that's a creative dream, right? I want to go viral once at least, maybe many times, but I'd love to go viral on one of our clips.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like I've had a clip get 100,000 views, but it was just dice. It wasn't anything crazy. We recorded this before we went viral on Twitter for our last interview. So I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the people on Twitter for making one of our posts go completely crazy viral and making one of my dreams come true. I think there's lots and lots of cool dreams that we've got, but I want to get to the next section, which is adventure dreams. Are you ready for the adventure of adventure dreams?
I had an adventure dream last night and I wrote it down and put it into a story for my tabletop group. Is that what you mean?
Well, kind of, yeah. Adventure dreams can be anything. So like, do you want to do things like scuba dive in the Bahamas? Or do you want to shoot guns in Budapest, which I recommend people do?
Wait, why?
It's one of the best things to do in Budapest.
You could shoot guns in America too.
Well, as a Canadian, that was a cool dream to happen. We can't shoot hardly any guns in Canada.
Right. Yes. Silly. Okay. Sorry.
That makes me sound like a gun nut. I'm really not. I'm
just
totally gun deprived in Canada.
Exactly.
So
that's the truth. You're just deprived.
All right. Let's get writing. All right. How about sipping a Guinness in Ireland? If you haven't written that one down, write that one down.
Okay.
How about driving the Autobahn? There's no speed limit there.
Oh, terrifying. Are you surprised that's my answer?
No, but I just am pointing it out for everyone else.
Oh, okay, thanks. That's good.
There'll be lots of other people. Do you want to set a Guinness World Record in something? That could be an adventure dream for people. How about ziplining in Maui? Do you want to walk the Camino Trail, which is, I believe, in Spain? Do you want a hot air balloon ride? I have that one on mine. I want to drive a NASCAR racing thing at some point.
Drive in a NASCAR race?
Yeah, like a fast car.
Oh,
like
okay.
that. Spend Canada Day in Ottawa. Everyone should write that one down.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
totally,
yeah.
totally worthwhile. I
Totally.
swear to God.
Why would that be awesome? That's like me saying, I want to spend 4th of July in Washington, D.C. I don't care.
Well, I guess you don't care because you're American, but I'm just saying,
Yeah.
Canada Day in Ottawa is a super party, and Canadians are fun. It's not the same as, I don't know, whatever you guys are doing, firing off guns or whatever, but we have a great time. They shut down the whole city. Everybody gets plastered. It's great
Okay,
beer.
if it's a
It's
party,
really,
that's
it's a
nice.
great party. I'm just saying, Canada Day in Ottawa is a good time. All right, keep on writing. What band would you want to see? Or what shows would you like to see? Music show or a musical or a play? Is there any magician you want to see? List the top 5 comedians you'd want to see if you have any comedians in your life that you're obsessed about or you like. Do you want to sip scotch in Scotland? Dom Perignon in Champagne. That would be pretty cool. Do you want to eat chicken adobo in the Philippines, you know? Where would you like to shop? I want to ride an elephant. I've never ridden an elephant.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. Are there any festivals you want to go to? Do you want to see an NFL football game of some sort? Do you want to see the Super Bowl? Do you want to see an NBA championship? Do you want to go to the US Open in golf or in tennis?
I actually would like to see professional level frisbee, ultimate frisbee. It's the videos are sick.
Well, there you go. Write that one down. You want to go to the national, like, go see some ultimate frisbee. My girlfriend put on, she wants to see Missy Elliott
Oh,
in concert.
I bet that's a good show.
It would be amazing. It would be amazing. But she just hasn't toured in forever. But it would be one of those things. It's like, all right, let's, like write that down. Things like that come up, and then oh wow, it's on my dreams list. I really want to do this. All right. How many we got? We got 100 yet?
I bet I do.
I'm just trying to throw out so many ideas. So everyone who's listening, you have your dreams list. And if you haven't got to 100, go listen to this again and think through and get more, because you can get to 100. Now that you've done it, let me ask you something, Frank. How do you feel?
Probably not the answer you want. I feel overwhelmed, but that might just be a today thing for me. I feel like there's so many other ideas that I haven't even written down that I know are out there, but I like having all of these options. I like having all of these things I can pull from. I mean, I always consider myself someone that doesn't really need to travel, but when I look at this list of places I'd like to travel to, I'm like, you know what? Actually, that would be really cool. That'd be really great to go and, to the pyramids. I'd really love to go do and see that.
Well, I'd love to go to the pyramids. Why don't we set up a trip?
Yes.
That's on my dreams list too.
Okay.
How cool would it be to go to Egypt and then record a podcast in Egypt?
Oh,
all right.
man. Yeah.
With some Egyptian nerdpreneurs, and then talk and meet and see the actual pyramids. That'd be so cool.
That'd be sick.
This is the thing, right? And part of the value in doing this is that you do it collectively with other people, so that you also hear what their dreams are, and you say like, "Oh, I got that dream too. We could make that happen." Or, "Oh, you know what? I know someone who knows someone who could help you do this dream," or whatever it is. Like NASCAR. I don't know anyone who can help me drive a NASCAR, but guess what? Somebody out there might know, and then they can tell me, and then I can drive in a NASCAR somehow. Like it's about being a person of possibility by having this. And of course, you didn't screw it up, Frank. Okay, I know it might feel like, but there's so many perfect answers I could have done, but you didn't. This is a living, breathing document. There's no wrong answers, and it also means that you can keep adding to it. So as you think about this, and as this conversation we've just had, which is fairly one-sided, I know I was doing a lot of talking, but as this conversation that we've had has emerged and continues to ruminate, you're going to have other revelations over the next day, 2 week, etc. Throughout the rest of this year. You now have a notebook in which to place them. And as you do, you just, let me go write that down. Let me go write that down. Let me go write that down. And what's great is then you revisit this stuff every so often and you pick out new things. Now, a good thing to do from this, and this is where your structure can really be helpful.
Yes, give me my strengths, man.
Is to go through here and say, pick any 3 dreams that you can get accomplished in the next 4 months. And then by the end of this year, 3 dreams that you want to do is say in the next 4 months, and then 3 that you would like to do in the next year. And if you're looking through and you're like, oh, some of these are just too big, like keep expanding the list until you find 3 that you want to do in the next 4 months, 3 in the next year. And once you start accomplishing these dreams, I'm telling you, it becomes addictive. You get a taste of it and you just keep wanting to do it. You keep adding to the list. Then you can, like I said, add pictures. You start crossing things off. You can create dates and timelines. You can categorize your dreams if you wanted to into 2-year dreams, 5-year dreams, 10-year dreams, lifetime dreams, you know? So go back to our original thought of why. Why are we doing what we're doing? You know, one of the things I like about working in my own business and doing a podcast like this is that I think we care about people and their dreams. When we talk to our various nerdy entrepreneurs, we really do care about what they're doing and what their passion is. Even though it's their passion, we care about hearing about their success. You know, it doesn't really matter what their dream was, but it matters that what they did is they put it on their list or whatever, and they start going after that thing that they thought they were going after. And, you know, I know in some way we can help them and that their story helps other people. And that's a pretty powerful thing.
Yeah, not a lot of companies really acknowledge that they are guides helping their customers.
Well, I'll tell you, this book, The Dream Manager, which is where I lifted a lot of this stuff from. So full credit to Matthew Kelly. But even if you did nothing with anything and you just took this whole piece of paper and threw it out, your life would be changed just for having done this exercise. I guarantee it. And keep sharing your dream, right? Ask other people as you go through life. Like, I mean, I encourage people to do this with their family, with their partner, with crucial or important friends, because you never know who it is that might be able to help you connect to one of your dreams. And when you're all trying to create your dream together, you know, that is actually a super powerful, powerful thing. I want to finish with this quote if we can, unless you have anything else that you want to talk about before we get into it.
One thing I'd say is thank you. Thanks for doing this with me, man.
Cool. It was my pleasure. And I'm very happy to be able to have done it. And thanks for being vulnerable enough to do it in front of everybody who listens.
Oh,
Because
God.
the first time through could be a little rocky sometimes, but you did awesome. So I'm going to finish with this quote. All people dream, but not equally. Those who dream by night in the dusty recesses of their mind wake up in the day to find it was vanity. But the dreamers of the day are dangerous people, for they may act on their dreams with open eyes to make it possible. That's living the dream. Thanks for listening, everybody. And as always,
Keep it nerdy.